you for showing an interest in becoming a member of our cooperative. We're called the Faire Apart Housing Cooperative, and the name is both a cultural reference to the movie Band Apart by Jean-Luc Godard, and it also means in French to do things outside of the norm. And we call ourselves Faire-Op for short. Faire Apart, it doesn't actually mean what you think it means.
I thought that!
It doesn't translate that well. En tout cas, never mind.
There's two words that you have.
We like to interview potential new members to learn more about them and tell them what it's like living where we live. Okay. My name is Shanna. I live on the top floor with Joey and my 3 boys. I've been here 3 years, but Joey just moved in this summer. I work at a local nonprofit organization. Joey drives trucks, and he also has a heavy metal band. What's up? And this is Vanessa. She just moved onto the first floor with her 2 kids. She's from Quebec and does French teaching and translating. Thanks, Vava, for letting us know our name doesn't make any sense. Salut. This is Corbin, who moved in 2 years ago and lives on the 2nd floor.
Oh my God.
He teaches cooking and nutrition in the public school system, and he's also the youngest. Okay, you didn't need to say that. But you are. There are other things you can say about me. Oh. And this is Craig, Corbin's roommate. All of the founding members have moved out except for Craig. He's lived here for 5 years now, and no one is quite sure what he does for work. Yeah, hi everyone. Corbin, would you like to talk about how someone becomes a member of the Faire-Op? Sure. So the Faire-Op is a nonprofit corporation that owns this building. Well, technically, a housing cooperative is
Spot on.
slightly different than a nonprofit, and we're not a 501c3. Okay, Craig. So the Faire-Op is a legal entity that owns this building, and to become a member, we each have to be approved by existing members to purchase a share of stock in the housing cooperative. So we own all this together. No landlord, we own everything. Okay. Well, what? When you say this, it's confusing because as members, we don't own the building. We don't own the units. That would be a condominium. We just own the shares of stock, and the cooperative owns the building. Continue, Corbin. Once we own our share of stock in the housing cooperative, then we can rent a unit from the co-op. Lease, the term we use is lease. We set the lease rate when we approve the annual budget, and we've been able to keep the lease rate the same for the past 3 years. 4 if you count the year it went up, because it went up and then it went When someone down. Becomes a member, it costs around $2,000 for 1 share of stock. You can pay for that up front, or the Faire-Op can actually lend you the money at 0% interest that you pay over time. We do that. Yeah, but we can't afford to do that for everyone. So what are you saying? Look, I actually just want to know, general house rules, where do I store my bike? I think it would be fine if you just left your bike in the stairwell. Ooh, actually, that's the one thing we voted not to allow in the stairwell. Bikes. I don't remember that.
I never heard that.
Greg, would you remind us when we voted on that? It was a while ago. It's been a rule for a pretty long time. Yeah, I'll say, a real long time. Maybe you voted on it before any of us lived here, and now no one knows about it because you didn't tell us. It might have been 4 or 5 years ago. Yeah, like she said, before we lived here. No, we cannot all be Craig fucking Saddlemire. Why did you just bam that? Golly, man, when were you going to tell us about the special bike rule? I'm telling you now. It's written in the rules somewhere. What rules? In the meeting minutes. They're online.
They're online.
Well, some of us have to earn a living, and we don't have time to review 5 years of Google Docs. It's called Drive now. It's called Google Drive. Oh, yeah. And we have these meetings once a month. So, would you like to join our housing cooperative? Well, I'm actually just interested in subletting from Vanessa. Oh, well, we allow that too. I've actually been living here for 3 weeks now. Oh. Yeah, I meant to tell you guys, she's living with me right now, and so is Ryan. Hey, what's up, duders?
Yep.
Aren't you supposed to ask us permission for that? Oh, I thought I would ask now, I guess. After 3 weeks? Actually, she just needs permission
Over
if someone's going to
a
stay with
month,
her for
yes.
over 30 days. This has just been 3 weeks, so this is the time that she would ask if this is okay. And why are you all staring at me? What did I say wrong? Nothing. No, that is actually the first helpful thing you've said this entire meeting.
Check it out, guys. Pterodactyl dog!
Oh boy.
I'm like exhausted from watching you laugh.
Yeah, I mean,
So, what about this video was just ridiculous, and what offered real insight into cooperative life for us?
I mean, they're making fun of you as like the character in the movie who has like the institutional knowledge, and then like there's all these ways we try to like make sure that that knowledge is shared, and it's actually like not easy.
when you create something together and it has its own history, and then over time people move and new people come in.
You know, you made a rule like 6 years ago that everyone agreed to, but only one person still lives there that made that rule. Like that totally happens.
I don't think that I knew that all the minutes are on Google Drive.
Until right now?
Yeah.
Everybody it really, really wants the best for the Faire-Op, but everybody has different ideas of what that is.
So there's like this constant reassessing that always has to be done. That like even when you think you've like buried some hatchet, and then it comes back to haunt you like a few years later.
So the just general chaos and confusion.
And I love that she wasn't actually trying to be a member in the first place. Because that's the real shit.
Just that it's so interesting to see how others perceive me, because it's like so different than I perceive myself, you know?
I mean, it's not so dramatic. I'm not always fiddling my guitar, or not. Jenna's not always eating a salad, or, you know, Vanessa's always got the accent. But
I
vote.
on. You gotta make the motion there, big guy.
You do it.
Full go, full vote. No, do it, own it.
I motion. She stays here.
Annie.
Annie stays here for 30 days. I mean, forever.
I hope it was an exaggerated version, that it was like, oh yeah, she's already like told herself that she's staying, she's moved in, you know, whatever, and now they bring it up, you know.
For the record, Orion got approved a month before he came. And it's almost what happened with Annie, but that was also like out of my control, that, you know, I was away. She moved in, she put her name on the mailbox, and I had no idea.
The mail guy came here, and for like the second time I was home, and he's like, do you live here? And I was like, well, I may end up living here, but I'm not technically, so, you know, whatever, so let's just wait. But then the next day he put my name on the mailbox without me asking, and I walked in and I was like, shit, they're all gonna think that I'm like moving in, and I'm like, that's not my, you know, I want to go through the process, and we haven't.
No, I mean,
It's like picking up a puppy at the store.
you finish it.
I motion that Annie Dorn is approved to sublet from Vava.
I think that we do a good job basing our cooperative success on the fact that we have shared values, and that's how we govern ourselves. But that's because it's us. And when I try to describe cooperatives to other people, they always say to me, like, well, what if it wasn't you guys?
Yeah, to me, it always sounded funny. Like, Faire-Op d'Appart is like this idea that we have of the movement in the 70s that said, like, fuck society, we're gonna do our own things without caring about you guys.
And at various stages, it hasn't been you guys. It's been different you guys all along. And I think that the driving force is I'm paying myself rent each month. I'll leave with money that I've invested in myself in a way that's a really nice middle ground between homeownership, which I might not be able to afford, and paying someone else's mortgage, which you definitely can't afford, but everyone does. And that needs to get captured in the next episode.
When, you know, I feel like the Faire-Op is completely the opposite. Like we're downtown. We want to be downtown. We want to relate and have relationship with our neighbors.
I know that we don't think in terms of dollars and cents, that we are about shared values, but if cooperatives were to catch on in a big scale, it would have to catch on in part because it makes good business sense.